Hey guys, Nolan here. Today we're talking about rainbow reins. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But before we do that, why not hit the subscribe button and the bell so you are notified the moment I upload new content? Okay, I am absolutely sure you have seen them around. In tack shops, online stores. Hell, I'm sure there's somebody at the barn who has had a pair hanging up in their locker for eons because Coach suggested that they could use a pair, but they're slightly too embarrassed to actually hook them up to the bridle. I'm not gonna lie, they are not easy on the eyes at all. Whether you go with the pastel colors that look like shades out of Elton John's closet, or maybe just the classic colors, people are gonna see you coming a mile away. Oh, the rainbow reins. But really, it's more the stigma that keeps people from using these reins. In simple terms,
rainbow reins are for beginners.
Why not add to the stigma? Rainbow reins are actually just for children who are learning how to hold the reins properly. And learning is just so much more fun when we get to join the Rainbow Bright team in spreading color all over the world in an attempt to overcome the King of Darkness. Or those shitty hands of yours. I'll tell you a secret. I ride rainbow reins. Oh, don't give me that look. Bloody hell. The horse world can be so damn judgmental. But I have an idea what you're thinking. Nolan said he went high in the levels. What is he doing riding in rainbow reins? He must be lying.
Hey, you know who lives in this house? A great big phony! That's right.
Hold on, Judy. Sit down and calm your tits. When riding any level, whichever discipline, you should be constantly taking in information. Half-halting will give you information. A horse whose bum leads in the half-pass will give you information. Is your horse putting in an extra step before the jump? Yeah, that's all information you can take in and use to better you, your horse, and the ride. That all makes sense, right?
Of course!
But did you know that the rainbow reins are doing the exact same thing? Take a horse whose tendency, when he is pushed out of his comfort zone, is to lift the head and suck into himself. As you ride up the levels, you're going to find how quick your reactions to things become, and how you begin to do things naturally without much thinking. I mean, by the time you get to Grand Prix, there is no such thing as planning and preparing so much in a test anymore. It's pretty much you're riding off reflexes. Your horse knows his job, you know your job. Now it's just go do it. Everything is coming at you gangbusters. There's no time for thinking. If you start thinking too much, you're too late. So you can imagine with that mentality, things snapping here and there, how quickly our brains start to take in information and start reacting to it. You kind of end up going into autopilot. So back to the previous example, the horse who sucks back into himself slightly, even if it's just a smudge, there's going to be slack in the reins. Now, in theory, we know once this happens, we need to push horsey back into contact to fill it out. But when you're riding, your brain might be going too quickly that you kind of react to that without thinking much about it, aka the autopilot. And without much thinking, you shorten up the reins. Shortening up the reins in this situation, not a good idea. It's not the thing to do. It's actually the last thing we want to do. Because we've already lost rhythm, we've lost engagement, we've lost contact, and in that split moment, we may not have realized why. But riding with rainbow reins, it can help you a lot with the school. We can actually end up doing a quick glance down at our reins and seeing that we don't need to shorten them. No, instead we need to drive into them. Another example is a horse who pulls the reins out of the rider's hands. And yeah, we can take it to the extreme where a horsey has yanked rider onto their crotch and is dragging them around like some marionette whose strings have been cut. But let's take it to the minimum instead. Every couple of strides, horsey, instead of pushing with the hind legs completely into your hand, he's only giving 50% into it, and he is pulling the reins slightly out of your hands. I'm talking a sliver. Little bit. And while a sliver may not seem like much, and nothing really to worry about, a sliver plus a sliver plus a sliver plus a sliver all adds up. And you end up with a hefty chunk pulled out of your reins after a couple rounds in the warm-up. With normal reins, you're not going to notice a sliver. But with rainbow reins, you're going to say, hey, I started off between red and blue, and now halfway through my warm-up, I'm an inch into blue. See, when you have a problem, the hardest part is realizing you have a problem. You can be told until the cows come home by your coach, but until you come to terms with it, can you change it? The rainbow reins make you see it, and then it's like driving a car. Struggling to keep at the speed limit? Every couple of seconds, keep checking your speedometer until you can regulate your speed. With the rainbow reins, you can do the same thing. Every couple of seconds, give a glance and see how much you've lost or taken. But the problem doesn't stem there. I've just told you all the great things that rainbow reins can do for you as a rider. And I'm sure it's safe to assume that 90% of you are going to go, I am never touching rainbow reins. And the reason why many people, not everybody, but many people are going to think like this is because of the stigma behind them. Our egos getting in the way. And that's pretty much a very big problem in our industry. Because we would rather struggle to the point of being frustrated, hating this sport, selling a horse, putting gadgets on the horse, putting sharp-ass bits to gag them backwards. Go so far into that nasty territory before trying something that could bruise our ego for fear of looking bad, looking like we don't know what we're doing, fear of making mistakes and learning from them. Does that not seem strange to anybody? Let me know in the comments below, because honestly, maybe I'm missing something. I mean, I get it from one standpoint. If you had told me, 10, 15 years ago, hey Nolan, here, you need to use a set of rainbow reins, it can really help you, I would have stuck my nose in the air and said, I'm above them. But what I don't understand is why do we, myself included, I've done this too in the past, why would we rather make things harder for ourselves to the point of digging ourselves into a deep hole instead of using something that could help us? Why is this such a bad thing? Why can't we see if we can get past our own ego and give, say, the rainbow reins a try? We'll see how helpful they really are and how much we are going to learn and better our own riding. Why do we struggle with that part? We're scared, fearing how we will be seen, how we're going to be judged. Why is it that learning is seen as bad? That if we don't do it perfectly at the beginning, we shouldn't bother. I've spoken about this many times in the past during my bullying mini-series, which by the way, if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a check out. There's a link up there, and I'll link it down below in the description. Give it a check out. And that's what this video is really about. If we can't be easy on ourselves, if we can't allow ourselves to make mistakes and learn from them, what does that say about us as riders? And what does that mean for our horses? If we're not allowing ourselves to make mistakes, chances are we're not allowing the horse to make mistakes. Then that leads to rides becoming harder. The training starts to go down the tubes and we are left with a mess because we kind of start treating them like machines. But what I have found is by getting rid of the ego, trying different things without the fear of being judged, taking chances to see what information I can get from things, I've learned so much more and my riding has gotten so much better. But that goes for a lot of riding. If you want to walk around with your head up your ass, you'll only go so far and you'll end up hating everything about this sport. And that's where I wanted to go today. Honestly, riding is hard enough. Take the help. Get rid of the ego. It's going to make things maybe not really easy, but it's going to make it a bit easier. Don't get caught up in having an ego trip because you think you're too good to be a better rider. That you are above riding with something that has a stigma attached to it. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't scrutinize somebody for using a wall of mirrors when they're riding in the arena, would you?
No.
But the rainbow reins kind of do the exact same thing. You're gonna see for every one person who rides with a set of rainbow reins, you have 50 people using mirrors. And those people using the mirrors will not touch the rainbow reins. The reins give the rider information to aid their riding. Just something to think about this week. What do you think is holding back riders from becoming really amazing riders in the horse industry? Let me know down below. And have you seen our online store? We have sassy designs for all equestrians that can show off their attitudes. From shirts to sweaters, glasses and mugs, definitely give it a check out. Link is in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, why not give a thumbs up? As I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's a little thing, but it really does go a long way. If you haven't already, why not hit the subscribe button and join the Little Cruiser Guild yourself? We have new videos up every week for your entertainment, but also to make this horse world make a bit more sense. And that's pretty much everything I've got for you guys today. Alright? Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolan M Cruz, and I'll talk to you